Hey you guys, good afternoon. Alright, so I'm making this video really quickly before I have to go get my boys. But I had another snow day and they didn't. I teach at a local community college. I teach history and government, and we had one more day off because lo and behold, we live in the South, and when you get cold weather and snow and a little bit of ice, you have some time off. So it's been glorious. But I wanted to pop in here because I've had a lot of questions. Hey, you guys, thanks for hopping on. As you hop on, if you can hear me, if you can see me and hear what I'm saying, if you'll just give me like a thumbs up, a heart, or just say, hey, Rachel, or something, I would love, love, love to see that you can hear me. But so I get a lot of questions from women about healthy eating and our families and how to know what to cook, what to feed our kids, and then just how to know what's healthy. And so I will say that a few years ago, I did not understand what clean eating is. And I also think that a lot of people have their own definition of what clean eating is. So you definitely have to decide to what degree you want to take it. Like, what degree do you want to omit certain foods? What degree do you want to make sure you're getting the best foods into your kids' bodies? For me personally, I know that I focus a lot on what I eat, and I know what my body responds to, and I've done a lot of research and education to figure out what I want to put into my body. Okay, and I do the same thing for my kids. Now, my kids are not restricted to just eating apples and sweet potatoes and eggs and just necessarily what I eat. They do get more processed food than I get, but I definitely, I had to go look at my pantry to look for some things to show you today, and it was really hard for me to find some things in our pantry that I would say don't fall under our clean eating lifestyle. So I've done a lot to make sure I am omitting as much junk from my kids' diet as I have for myself. Okay, so when you think about clean eating, so this is for me the simplest way to think about clean eating. What is clean eating? What is good food that you want to put into your bodies? And I'm not talking portions or anything like that today. I'm just talking about how to identify what foods you want to put into your body, how to know what's an easy way to be able to go to the grocery store to shop and to know what foods that you want to take home with you. Okay, so obviously, God made tons of clean eating foods that you don't even have to think about. When you think about whole forms of food, you want to think about foods that don't even have an ingredient list, okay? Those are the foods that you want to stick to the most. So things like an apple, there's no ingredient list, right? It's just an apple. Obviously, you want to watch for pesticides and things like that they put on there, but you don't have to wonder what's in an apple aside from pesticides. So you just stick to organic for certain foods. But it's just an apple. That's all that it is. So that's a whole food. A sweet potato, same thing. This is a healthy carb. This is, if you know what I'm talking about, my portions that I eat, this would be a yellow container. Okay, so it's a healthy carb, and it's just a sweet potato. Things like, now when you go into like the freezer section to buy food, again, it's not bad to buy pre-prepared stuff, frozen foods, but make sure that you read the ingredients. So on this is my favorite type of frozen veggies. It's the Bird's Eye brand. When you look at the ingredients, it just says broccoli. Now, some other brands, if you look at their ingredient list, it'll say broccoli and something else. Broccoli and some type of word that you can't even pronounce, which is probably a preservative. So you want to stay away from things like that. But so you want to look at, definitely focus on buying foods that don't have an ingredient list, okay? So that's the first place to start. Now, a second rule of thumb is if you are buying pre-packaged food, and I tell my challengers, I teach my challengers, when you go to the grocery store, if you want to buy the healthiest food possible, stick to the perimeter of the store. The things that are on the perimeter of the store, typically in most grocery stores, are the best whole, clean foods that you can find. And if you think about it, the produce aisle is on the outside, the deli aisle, the meat department is on the outside. Eggs, cheese, things like that are all on the perimeter of the store. So that's the best place to shop first. Now, when you go farther into the store, it's typically where you have the processed, the prepackaged foods, which are not always bad. And in some cases, in moderation, they're okay. So for example, This is Ezekiel bread. This is bread that I eat, that I personally eat. My boys eat whole wheat bread, but I buy the Ezekiel bread because while it may have a lot of ingredients, it is ingredients that I can pronounce. Things like sprouted wheat, barley, millet, more barley, lentils, sprouted soybeans, organic spelt, yeast, and sea salt. And that's kind of it. So those are all things that I know what they are, I know where they come from, and it's just a more wholesome form of bread that I like to eat personally. Now, if you look at something like these crackers, we have eaten these things for a long, long time. They're really good. I haven't had one in a really long time, but it's called a Belvita breakfast cracker, and they will do things like this, like put 19 grams of whole grain per serving in here, golden oat. They make it look and sound really healthy, but if you look at the ingredient list, it has things like canola oil, sugar, syrup, invert syrup, malt syrup, lecithin, disodium, I can't even pronounce these things. That's when you know if you can't pronounce what it says on the box, it's probably not very good for you. And am I saying never eat this type of thing? No, because obviously we have them. My boys took some maybe for lunch today, but we try to limit those foods instead of that being the only thing that they eat. Another thing, okay, something very simple like peanut butter. If you look at this one, and this one is, I typically buy the natural peanut butter, but I think we were in a bind, and I bought this one that day. It says made from roasted peanuts and sugar. Obviously, you don't want sugar in your peanut butter. Molasses, hydrogenated vegetable oil, mono and diglycerides, and salt. Okay, so that's not really a good form of peanut butter. Peanut butter, almond butter should have like almonds in it or just peanuts in it and maybe salt at the most. Okay, so that would not be what I would consider a clean eating food. Okay, again, something like this, oven baked chips. These have been in my pantry for a while. They're very crushed. These are chips. They should be chips, right? It has dried potatoes, cornstarch, corn oil, sugar, skim milk, salt, dextrose, soy lecithin, skim milk, whey, onion powder, and it goes on. Like, that's not just chips, okay? So while that may look and sound healthy, you would be better off just, eating french fries, honestly. It's going to add more fat, but this is not really a good form of potatoes to eat. You'd probably just be better to make your own sweet potatoes or something like that and make fries, okay? And so those are just a couple of examples. This is a good one that I wanted to share. Does anybody eat rice cakes? I love rice cakes with almond butter on them. But this is a pre-packaged food, and the ingredients say whole grain brown rice and salt. So 2 ingredients. Okay, so if you're looking at ingredients when you're shopping for prepackaged foods, 1, make sure you can pronounce everything. That's number 1. I would definitely make sure you can pronounce everything. And 2, one of my rules is that I look to see if it has more than 5 ingredients, then I usually don't buy it. Because if it has more than 5 ingredients, then they've probably added something that you don't want in it, okay? So those are just some of my tips for eating clean and how to read labels and know what your family is actually eating. So if you have any questions or if you have any thoughts or anything to add to that, just let me know for sure. And I hope that really helps. I know a lot of you guys that follow me are really wanting to help your family get healthier. And that's my goal, is to teach you guys what I have learned. I am not a nutritionist. I am not anybody who is certified in anything. This is just based on research that I have done for myself and for my family. So have a good day, you guys. Now I have to go get my crazy children from school.